Hello from Idaho. I'm sorry I'm not there to worship with you this morning, but I trust you've had a good worship service so far. And I'd like to take just a couple minutes to share with you from my devotional that I did on Friday night at the ladies' retreat. We had chosen to focus on the Book of Ruth, and so I figured if I was going to talk about Ruth, I really needed to know who this woman was. And so after many readings through the Book of Ruth, I wondered who was this woman who had a book of the Bible named after her and who was listed in the genealogy of Jesus. I figured she must have been somebody extraordinary or had some exceptional talents to have this book of the Bible named after her. But you know what I found was a woman who had married into another culture, who became a widow and was childless, who was poor, was very loyal to her mother-in-law, Naomi. She left her own family traditions to move to another country and to become a foreigner. What I found was just an ordinary woman who is at a point of need. So I'd like to take a look at two quick points from my devotional and see what we can learn from that. The first is at the point where Naomi and Ruth are headed to Bethlehem. Orpah is with them, and Naomi graciously says to both the ladies to go back home to your families. And we know that Orpah chose to go back, but Ruth stayed with Naomi. And the scriptures that I want to just kind of quickly build on are from the Message, chapter 1, verse 14. It says, Ruth embraced Naomi and held on. And as you keep reading along, it says, Ruth said, don't force me to leave you. Or if you look at another version or translation, it says, you are in a difficult place, and I will walk with you. So did you catch that? First of all, Ruth embraced Naomi, and then she held on, and then she walked with her. To me, that's pretty good advice, that we just sometimes need to embrace what is difficult. And then we need to hold on to what we know to be true. And then we need to move forward and do what needs to be done. The second point that I'd like to pick up on is when Naomi was there for Ruth. They got to Bethlehem, and Naomi was there to teach Ruth about the customs of her land, the traditions, about her God, and about the kinsman redeemer. But there was a pause button in all of this. They had already approached Boaz as being a kinsman redeemer, and he says that there is somebody else that's in line before me to be the redeemer. And I want to share again a scripture that I think was important to look at, and that's in chapter 3, verse 18, where Ruth tells Naomi, or Naomi tells Ruth, now you must wait. We must wait and see what happens. So did you catch that? First she tells Naomi to wait, but then she says we must wait. It's a reminder that we don't have to do things on our own, that sometimes others can draw close to us and wait with us or walk with us. So what do I take away from all this? I think there's 4 things that I just want to bring out this morning. One is, again, we don't have to do things on our own. Sometimes we are the person that walks alongside, and sometimes someone else walks alongside us. Second is, sometimes we need to just slow down and take care of what's in front of us and not get ahead of ourselves. Third, it's okay to seek help and to seek guidance. And fourth, sometimes we need to move forward, just as Ruth and Naomi did as they left Moab for Bethlehem. And sometimes we need to stop and wait, just as Ruth and Naomi did as Boaz was approached as a kinsman redeemer. So, what is it that kept Ruth committed to Naomi? What did Naomi say or do that so impressed Ruth that she chose to embrace, that she chose to hold on, and she chose to walk with Naomi? Well, I have my thoughts on that, but I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to leave it for you to figure out, because I think in some way, as you look at that question, Jesus might have something to say to you that might impress upon your walk with Him as you journey forward. As I close, I want to say that God's story is larger than our story, and together we're all pieces of His incredible story. I'm so glad that each of you have something to add to my story, because it increases the depth, the richness, and the beauty of it. Each of us has a story, a journey, and I don't know your full story, but I do know the God who is writing that story with you.